the passes Tracer.
Yeah. But we've seen, though, over the course of the qualifiers today, that Logix has been having a little difficulty on this Tracer in particular, trying to find the opening. Neptuno opens up with that Hanzo. I mean, we're used to just seeing the Sonic arrow come out, but he went full force with it, got that scatter shot, and now they're already playing a man down, but Nevix immediately answers on back, taking out Dante.
I'm pretty sure I can hear Hex in the background right now after that play. That was ridiculous. Like, you're not expecting to kill anyone with that, but somehow he does. You just want to use it as a Sonic arrow, but he just throws off the casual shot, pick up some casual kills, and now Swoosh and Logic trying to work together here. Tvik finally able to turn things around, at least get one kill, but Manton takes on Colsey, so we've seen Movistar drop their front line, which allows Misfits to get those respawns back in, and as Zebo, with his Nano ready to go, can put that on to anyone he really wants to. Does he want to put on to Reinforce to make him more viable, or not viable, to make him extra tanky in the front line, or does he want to wait for Nevix with the blade?
Nevix is sitting at 72% as they are contesting the point at this first bend, but the Nano Boost is actually going to go onto Reinforce at first, but he immediately gets focused down. Pulse Bomb even came out, took out Maniton there from the mech. They were able to just clean up house on the side of Movistar Riders.
Yeah, I think he just went around the corner, got baited and maybe a little bit too far. Maybe there was miscommunication between him and Zebasai, because Zebasai just wasn't in a position to heal him when he did jump around. So a little unfortunate for them. But Movistar off to a strong start here, looking to push this payload. Maybe we're going to see more than the first point here on this map.
Hopefully. But yeah, we're seeing the replay here, and that's how they were able to clean that up. And like you had mentioned, you got to be careful when you're playing the Winston that you don't get out of the line of sight of your support there. But Dragon Blade comes on out from Swoosh, and he's going to jump in to the cave line. Now actually hunting down after that Winston player Reinforce will fall down to it, gets the dash reset. Swoosh coming up huge. That's a 3K for him, but still, the point is being contested. Tracer and D.Va on it so far, as Swoosh was able to get the D-Mech onto Maniton, and he's going to clean up.
Yeah, they're just going to stall for as long as they can. Try to take some extra key seconds away from Movistar Riders as they're looking to transition into the second phase. But both teams probably, for the most part, keeping their same comp. Zebasai, we have to wonder, will he switch over to Zenyatta? Because they do not have an answer for Swoosh when he gets his Dragon Blade. They don't have the trance. They're going to have to commit a sound barrier into that, which even then you don't want to do that necessarily because you have to deal still with Finzi with Attack Visor.
Yeah, this is a really difficult spot to be in as Misfits. They've got to take this fight early if they want to have another opportunity. If they lose that fight, they immediately jumped onto Finzi, who was way out of position. He had no one there to try and bail him out. And so now, already with a mad advantage, they push forward. They're onto the payload now. Primal Rage is going to come out from Reinforce as the Pulse Bomb did not connect by Logix. And now it's Nevix coming in, gets that first frag onto Swoosh. They will win this fight.
A really good stall, and actually a much-needed stall to Misfits with Finzi just being too aggressive. They're able to win that fight, put up a lot of crucial percent. Zebasai now, he has his Nano ready to go. And you can see just Reinforced here. I mean, this is dirty. You're trapped into a tight area with a monkey swinging his massive forearms, and you know that's not going to be a good sign for you. So now, they have quite a few ultimates to work with. They're going to have a sound barrier as well to deal with Finzi. And Tvik's looking for a pulse bomb. So Movistar, just that one fight, which is Finzi getting caught out, it actually could cause a big stagnation for them on the second point.
It's going to be Tvik that gets caught out by Logix, getting that Tracer kill. Now with the Transcendence, they push forward, immediately just cancels out that nano-boosted Winston there. They're going to clean them up and start making good pace with this payload.
Well, just to start talking about how Misfits pick up that early kill on Finzi and win the fight, that they can hold on to this point now and cause a lot of disruption. Well, then they lose the fight after that, without any ultimates being committed out of Movistar. So now we did see the Nano used out of Zebasai over to Reinforce, I believe. Manton has already gone down, he's just being zoned away from that payload. And now they're with the man down. Can they really contest this payload? They're in a tight area. You've got the Tac Visor to deal with out of Finzi. You got the Blade out of Swoosh, which is going to be popping off here. This is so dangerous for Misfits as they're now committing the sound barrier here to try to hold on.
Really weird fight coming out from Movistar Riders there as they decided to take that inside, but finally they are going to be able to clean this up using that Primal Rage along with the Tactical Visor. It looked inadvisable at this point, but now they are fighting back. They're trading. But it's all down to Maniton here. As he gets D-Mech'd, he will get cleaned up, and that's Dante getting that final frag. And now we're moving in to the warehouse portion of Route 66.
So Misfits, they just keep getting caught out a little bit. I think Movistar are just out-positioned for the most part. Obviously, with how we just saw with Swoosh having a blade in that cave and Finn's there to protect with the Attack Visor if anyone did get out. It's hard to deal with that, and obviously there is a point you'll get to where they have too many ultimates that you just can't win a fight. There's a lot of these small trades, like Tvik getting caught up by Logix there. Now Logix push on his other side, looking for the 1v1. Like, a lot of these small little things are starting to build up a giant snowball that Misfits just don't have an answer for.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb came out. Logix, it doesn't look like it actually connected, but Finzi will. He pushes forward. He's already got 2 frags, and now they're making a pretty decent headway so far. They've got 3 minutes left on the clock, which is pretty much a godsend, especially if you get to this warehouse portion.
And so we got reinforce. This guy's Palmer Rage, so he can stall on the payload. He can buy some time. Maybe for Manton to build up a self-destruct. Maybe for Nevix to get this blade. And now Zebus, you have to wonder, where's his ultimate going to go? Does he want to put it onto reinforce to make him that much harder to deal with? Or does he want to try to get this wombo combo to, onto Nevix? Problem is that Dante, who has a Transcendence up and ready to go, will completely counter out on this one. So Zebo has to somehow hit an amazing pulse bomb, or they have to hope that they can burst him down before he gets off that trance.
Okay, they will force back Movistar Riders. With Reinforce actually using his Primal Rage there, it does allow for Zebaside the option to actually go with either the Winston or with the Genji. So far, though, Nevix hasn't had that huge impact play so far with the Genji, so I don't know if you just want to put it onto Reinforce, who can be a bit more reliable with that, and he is going to receive it. Swoosh immediately backs on off. He's dropped down to 57 HP, but it's going to be Nevix that cleans him up. That's a 2-for-1 exchange.
And they're still continuing to push this pressure. Actually have Logics a little bit overcommitted here. And eventually he should fall as he's going to be chased down by Nevix and Tvik. But yeah, I mean, you're completely right about Nevix. It's just that we haven't seen him have the same impact we saw on the original Misfits lineup when he transitioned from support from Ana over to Genji. So it's a little bit sad, but maybe they just haven't figured out a way to necessarily unlock him because, to be fair, you also have Tvik on the team, right? You have like a huge amount of superstars on the team who want to be able to have those strong individual plays, but when everyone's going for them, no one can actually accomplish it, right? So maybe that's some tweaks they need to have happen.
Self-destruct comes out from Manson, nothing coming of it, but they push forward with that sound barrier. They had a huge ultimate advantage, and already 3 kills going in favor of Movistar Riders, committing quite a bit into this, even though they had already largely won that fight.
Both defensive ultimates, both support ultimates, I mean, and Mineral was trying to sound barrier in that fight, but he got killed before he pulled that one off, which actually is going to work out to help them here, because now they can jump on the payload. Yeah, they're going to lose the distance. They at least want to throw this into overtime and not allow them to start to finish before that.
Dragon Blade comes out from Nevix, but it's Logic's trying to get that sticky. Will not connect as Kolsti cleans up Nevix. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as they will be able to get the kill onto Mineral, and now they're just meters away with 50 seconds left on the clock. Cleaning house. It is going to be Swoosh coming in. Primal Rage comes out from Reinforce, but he's already dropped down to about 100 HP. Gets cleaned up by Dante, and now it's coming down to the wire. They are trying their best to contest on the side of Misfits, staggering in 1 by 1 as Finzi gets the kill onto Mineral.
They have no ultimates though, and Finzi has attack fires already. He's actually going to be useless here in just a few seconds. They have no ultimates to defend. They're just going to keep losing, man. They're just trying to stop. They can just for like 20 seconds and be looking good, but the problem is the kill feed. It's just all red. And Misfits will eventually give at this point with only 25 seconds remaining for Movistar Riders.
They went really back and forth once they got to the warehouse. For the most part, Movistar Riders went largely uncontested through phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah.
And finally, by the time we got to the warehouse, Misfits were able to, with that nano boost play onto the Winston, gain their footing a little bit, but still, it looked like they were struggling.
Yeah, I don't know what really went wrong in their camp. I think it's more of a, you have to be in their comms to figure out what's going wrong for them there, because they just kept getting snowballed against. And I mean, the Ana pick is really strong to have on first point. Second point, you can still argue it's worth having, but the Zenyatta, that was like the key hero out of the entirety of TakeOver just last weekend. Having your trance up when the enemy team has their Dragon Blade just completely mitigates, completely counter out on that one. And yet Swoosh was left, for the most part, unchecked. Tvik a couple of times getting caught out by Logix, able to outplay him in terms of positioning alone. And then Nevix just wasn't really able to, well, the thing is, he wasn't able to really make an impact. Not necessarily because it's his fault, but we've never had his Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost at the same time ready. Each Nano was always invested onto Reinforce to make him tankier, to make him be able to take down the support line out of Movistar Riders. So they didn't use the key to unlock Nevix to allow him to make these plays happen.
Now, Neptuno, he threw himself off the ledge there. Was he trying to possibly bait something out from the side of Misfits? Because he has been known to actually pick up the Sombra before. He's done it on Hollywood, attack and on offense, or excuse me, offense and defense. So he's no stranger to it. Maybe he's trying to play some mind games with Misfits at this point.
I mean, it could be, but the way I always look at Route 66, teams will never attack initially in the beginning, and that means, you know, the attacking team can just hit tab and be like, oh, okay, you don't have a Sombra, you do have a Sombra kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe it's just having some fun here. Like we said, you know, exhaustion is a factor, and you need to make sure to maintain, you know, your high energy, and maybe having some fun little things like that, like jumping off. I don't know, I could be completely wrong. It actually could have been 100% strategy. I'll never know unless I ask him.
Misfits once again going with that 2-2-2 composition, but this time Nevix is actually going to be on Soldier 76 as they jump right on top of, get jumped on top by Movistar Riders, but it's Tvik that cleans up Swoosh already.
Yeah, Fenzi's trying to sit towards the backline too, trying to stay safe. He's not playing on the high ground anymore. He wants to be able to play with his team, and Tvik has already been able to take that position away, and just his presence alone, it forces Movistar to fight on the bottom, which makes it a lot easier for the rest of his team to pick up these kills and to at least pressure them away to allow his payload to continue to move. But Misfits have lost a couple of different heroes, a couple of different people, but Movistar was losing even more than that, and that first fight was flawless. Now Tvik needs to be healed up here because he wants to get aggressive and look for a good pulse bomb.
Yeah, so he's just going to go ahead and get that high ground on Big Earls and just spot them out. This pulse bomb could be huge, especially if they try to funnel in from one angle. Already Winston caught out. He's going to have to be careful as Tvik's deciding if whether or not he wants to go for it. Not quite yet.
Oh no, they're all in the cave. He's going to look for the pulse bomb. I think he stuck it. He's going to get nothing. Damn it, Tvik. You had such a good opportunity there, but either way, he forces them back, which allows the payload to continue to move here. The self-destruct being thrown into just to maybe get the resuit in for Manitin, but Movistar are not out just yet.
But with Reinforce getting 2 kills, both off the Swoosh and Dante, the defense really just falling here in the face of this Winston.
What is going on? I think he just got like 4 or 5 kills there. But a solid attack, right? I think a lot more solid than we saw Movistar on the initial push. And I think that came down to the start where Swoosh actually got taken down by Tvik, gave him the early man advantage, and they just continued to pressure that. Manson actually playing the D.Va there, had quite a few kills, and I think him and Reinforce together were playing pretty damn well.
Nevix is looking a lot more comfortable also, switching over to the Soldier 76. Oftentimes I feel like Genji players feel like they have to go for those big plays, as we have that Nanoblade coming out from Swoosh so far, but his initial jump in didn't find anything, and now he's just waiting on the cooldown. He's gonna get nothing from this.
Thing is, the way he came out, he had no idea where anyone was. And Misfits had the opportunity to stay so spread out they wouldn't even be able to pick up a kill. We didn't see Nevix respond with the visor just to zone him away to make sure, you know, he trades his ult for their 2. Completely working out for them. And now Reinforced again, able to take down Finzi, able to keep that soldier away, actually prevent him from getting any sort of high ground control. And with this visor being up, he eliminates that ultimate.
Yeah, Logix will finally clean up Reinforce, but this payload has made some decent distance so far, as it is finally getting contested by Movistar Riders. Now Nevix pushes forward. It's going to be with the help of Manitin, cleans up Swoosh, and now finds a second, takes out Dante.
That was a sick helix rocket, hitting both supports, hitting up Tuno and over to Dante at the same time, taking him down a half HP so they can just be focused down. They just give up their entire second point control. They lost out on first completely. They're losing out on second. And the time Misfit has now to go for this final push is going to be insane.
5 minutes. It's going to be on the clock for Misfits here to just finish this off. Now, Movistar Riders, they do have that lifeline, right? They were able to complete out the map with 25 seconds on the clock. They'll get an additional 35, but that also means Misfits will get 35 added on.
It's true. It is very true. It's just if they can get enough lead, maybe go into the second chance. Zebasai actually going to fall here to Logic, which kind of happy to see at the same time because I want to see Zebasai save his ultimate, which he was being very smart to do. You don't need to waste your trance.
Oh, Tvik gets slept over here by the Mega, and all of Movistar Riders are going to converge for that kill. Now, they've stabilized so far with the defense, but Misfits, they have such a huge power advantage in terms of ultimates. They've got 5 online. Reinforce doesn't have his, but does it really matter at this point?
I mean, his Primal Rage is not going to matter too much. I think it comes down to, do you want to nano Finzi to stop the switch from coming in? We do see the Soundberry being used aggressively so they can make this first initial push come through. You can see Manson trying to focus on a Colsey to try to zone him the way. The payload's still moving, but the problem is Dante, look at his position. He's actually kind of caught up by himself. You can see Nevix maybe try to turn around to focus him down. Even the Trance being invested now into this one. They're trying to throw all their support ultimates to get this momentum going. But Tvik picking up a second kill, I think they might be able to.
Yeah, Logix, though, trying his best to keep it alive. Finzi just getting free damage off from all the way back at spawn. Actually staying over, might be deciding to swap off, and he will actually go for that Genji swap.
You see Tvik here, able to help focus these people down. He's actually pretty much going by himself because there's no Genji. He doesn't really have that partner, right? That guy to hold hands with, to jump into the backline to focus targets down, but with the way he was playing there, he doesn't need to.
Primal Rage getting used by Reinforce is going to actually force Finzi back into spawn so far, but now they're going to push forward. He's got the tactical visor, but the D.Va defense matrix just eating it all up.
I was going to say, he's got attack visor, yeah, but you've got no damage because you got the D.Va in your face, but luckily Swoosh is going to be there, popping his blade, picks himself up a quick and easy triple kill. And a Misfit's going to be wiped out, but it's still 3 minutes left to go here. And Movistar are switching a couple of things around. So you talked about Finzi, right? He switched over from the Soldier. Now he's going over to Zarya this time. And he has a damn good Zarya, to be honest. He has a lot of charge, and if you're going to want to nano boost him early on, you're seeing quite a few teams do. You obviously build up that ground surge really quickly. It becomes really hard to deal with.
Now, with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, Misfits just meters away from completing out this map. Tvik, he's got that pulse when he gets spotted out, has to immediately recall. Now, that window of opportunity not quite there for him as he is trying to jump on top from the high ground, but now he's getting forced back by Finzi on that Zarya.
Yeah, he wanted to actually wanted to join Nevix to take down Neptuno there. You saw Neptuno was kind of by himself. And eventually he did pick up the kill on Nevix, so because of, I guess, the missed dashes or not being in the right place at the right time, the commitment of Nevix and Tvik working together just didn't work. So a little bit of a misplay there, but again, they still have the time to work with. Problem is you're allowing Movistar to build up these ultimates. Lucky for them, Finzi didn't have much energy in that fight, so he's not building up a lot of percent towards that Graviton surge. And you're seeing Misfit transition over towards the side. They're trying to take control of this truck, take this high ground control away from the enemy team.
Oh, Finzi dropped real low, but with Dante there is going to get healed right back on up. Colsey goes down, though, on the side of Movistar Riders, so now they're pushing forward. Our Misfits and oh my god, Manitin!
He gets himself a triple kill. The payload is contested for now, yes, but you're forcing Neptune to use that transition to maintain control of this one. He's eventually going to fall. Logix is on the tracer. He's going to be able to stop for a little bit of time, as well as Colsey. He's going to be able to use his ultimate, that primary H to buy extra time. Manitin switch over to the Widowmaker here to try to do some damage from the back lines, and now Nev's going to be forced to use his blade. They're using the Transcendence to keep everyone alive here, but so far Movistar just not losing the people. Misfits are not getting the distance off the back of that triple kill that Manitin got.
I think they were caught off guard by it too, as Tvik comes in, gets the kill onto Dante. They're cleaning up house. So far, Neptuno has come back with that Sombra. Logix will be able to finish off Reinforce, but now Nevix and Tvik trying their best, cleaning them up. Nevix gets the kill onto Finzi on Logix. Now the payload's pushing forward as we do have Neptuno trying to get in. He will be able to buy it in just enough time for Movistar Riders to get their respawns in. They've got the nano boost on to Colsey there, forcing them on back. Neptuno gets spotted out by Tvik. Has to be careful.
He misses the translocator, but he's still alive here. Managed somehow to get Dante down. They did invest the nano onto Colsey to make him extra strong, so he's not dropped immediately here, but with the May being played out of swoosh, he's going to buy a lot of time. Problem is there's no one to deal with Manitin. Nevix is already applying so much pressure and Reinforce getting the kills. They're finally going to do it, but 9 seconds ahead of Movistar Riders when they had 5 minutes of time to finish off that third point. That is nowhere near the time they were looking to complete with, but they complete nonetheless, right? That's always the positive side of that one.
Yeah, but still, there were so many failed attacks coming out from Misfits on the warehouse portion. I mean, they walked in with a 5-minute lead against Movistar Riders. They just needed to finish it out. Now there's only 9 seconds difference between the two teams, and that's largely inconsequential, really.
I mean, it's yeah, definitely. I'm considering if we try to think back to how the first fights broke up for both teams, right? That first point, both teams had great success. Weren't really staggered, weren't really stalled at all. I don't know if we're going to see the same thing happen again here, because I would imagine you can be really aggressive with your defense. If you do that, you get an extra fight in the first phase, and there's almost no reason to not do that, considering how one-sided both teams were able to pull off that initial start. So obviously Neptuno's going to spot things out. Hopefully, who was it? Who actually was it that died initially? Was it Mineral?
Neptuno was the one that got the kill on to Tvik.
All right, on to Tvik. All right, so, I mean, hopefully for Tvik, he's not going to get caught up this time. I don't think Neptuno can get lucky twice. Lightning or scatter arrows don't land in the same spot twice. Definitely know that if you play against Hanzo.
Quick play enough, actually, they might. Just spam that angle.
Flashbacks and Nom, you know, against Hanzo's. But here we go. We're kicking off the technically third half of the game here, and it will be Movistar Riders on the initial attack. They're investing Finzi onto the Zarya, though. They're not going to be allowing him to play Soldier this time.
Yeah, that's going to take away from their long-range abilities here. Yeah. So they're going to have to play up close, but I mean, we already know Misfits are going to be going for that. They've got that 2-2-2 composition once again. Moniton on the Diva there. Reinforce, of course, picking up the Winston, and Tvik and Nevix, the DPS duo for Misfits, already contesting the point.
Well, that's right about half HP too, but Zebasai doesn't really have any pressure against him unless somehow Swoosh is able to get into his position. But you can see no one actually dealing with him on top of the girls on the right-hand side of your screen. A lot of healing, already 50% build up on his ultimate. And with the payload still being contested, Misfits are trying to pull them out, trying to get them a little bit too aggressive. Nevix is very low in health, he's eventually going to fall here, and that's the initial kill Movistar needed.
Oh, Pulse Bomb came out and didn't actually stick onto Mineral, but he walked right into it, and already 4 kills going over in favor of Movistar Riders.
This is looking good for them, so they're going to get a lot of progress here. Nevix just, you know, the rest of the team just trying to stall as long as they possibly can. The question now comes into, will they go for the second contest on the point? They're going to have to, right? But they've got really nothing to work with here. With Swoosh being this far pushed up, he's going to have a blade available. Finzi is working towards his Grouton about 50% 50%, so it's allowed Logics to get a pulse bomb off earlier on, and ideally, if they can pull things off correctly, you're gonna have Finzi to be able to match with Logics to hit that pulse bomb Graviton Surge combo. But now, potentially the final attack here, Misfits, they do have a nano, they're gonna use it on the reinforce to try to focus out the back line.
Yeah, Dante immediately goes down to that, but the primal rage is gonna get used there by Coles. He just get them off the point, and now with Swoosh, he's got that Dragon Blade, trying to find the reset, but it's his counterpart that takes out Neptuno. Colsey staying alive, got his own primal rage there, was able to get the kill onto Zebosai, and now Movistar Riders might have just been able to clean this up.
They invested the nano, they invested the pulse bomb, and they really didn't get much of that. Mansion switching over to the soldier instead of playing the diva, and Movistar are gonna get this first point. It's now 4 points in total for them. Finzi, 76% on his Graviton. Movistar cannot afford to drop off this point, but Logics, he's just trying to look for some early picks. If he can just pulse bomb up here, maybe get an early kill or two, you can continue this progression, continue this momentum. Misfits have to put a hold on this, and they've invested back into the triple DPS.
At this point, it looks so difficult for Misfits. Once you get into these overtime situations, a lot of teams kind of lose their head, but we do see them regrouping as a team so far, so they are maintaining the composure. But Movistar Riders, they have so many ultimates coming up. Finzi almost has his Graviton Surge, Logics has his Pulse Bomb, so they have that combo at the ready, but it doesn't matter! Logics coming in with the triple kill off that Pulse Bomb, and now it's going to be more free ground. I mean, they're on borrowed time here.
I'm sorry if I just blew anyone's ears up and made their ears bleed, but that was insane. He picks himself up a triple kill off of one ultimate. They're able to maintain the sound barrier. They're able to actually keep the Graviton Surge into later on. This is so big for them. Yes, Misfits are finally starting to get some ultimates, but Finzi, if he just gets a grab in this position, Swoosh gets the resets with dashes, Colsey there just electrocuting them all, this is looking bad for Misfits.
Sound barriers coming on out. There's the Graviton Surge, connects onto the majority of Misfits. That's 3 kills already going over for them. This payload is getting contested now, but Misfits just have no presence whatsoever. They get cleaned up, and Movistar Riders, they're going to get the second checkpoint.
Jamerson, this is looking a lot like my ranked games, man. This is really starting to tilt me here. Misfits just cannot hold Movistar off. All it takes is just one nice boot. Just clear all 5 off for half a second, and you lock this one down. But now 2 points, they've already lost. There's no way. Do not tell me Movistar are going to continue to make this into the final push here.
Oh, here we go. That's that pulse bomb, and look, it got connected onto Manitin, and he sprinted it into the team. But here we go. Dragon Blade comes on out from Nevix, but it's immediately answered by the Transcendence from Dante. Swoosh now answers in kind. He pushes forward with the help of Colsey, gets the kill onto Nevix. Now Swoosh, double kill comes out for him. Logics with another pulse bomb just to finish off Mineral here. Now Movistar Riders just snowballing out of control.
Colsey played that perfectly. He popped his Primal Rage and knocked Nevix away. He kept him off the rest of his team and allowed them to pick up the kill onto him and allowed Swoosh to get aggressive into the backline. Misfits are still throwing everything they have into this one. Every single time they have not been able to have that strong combo, but for them, Movistar have no ultimates. They have the Primal Rage coming up soon, but there's no offensive ultimates to stop them. But Manson, he gets dropped by Finzi. That is not the start you want to see. Are they ever going to be able to hold on to this point? Finally, Reinforce is able to respond with the kill on Neptuno, but they need more kills, and they're just not getting them.
Yeah, they're just getting cleaned up by the Colsey and Logic so far. Swoosh dropped down to 15 HP, finally gets cleaned up by Tavik and Reinforce. After actually holding on to his Primal Rage for about the last 2.5 minutes, we'll pop it. Tavik now cleaning up. Colsey goes on down as just this Tracer Logics finally goes down, and Movistar Riders will be stopped, but damage done. They got both checkpoints and 54 meters on the point.
So now if you're Misfits here, you're playing checkers when the Riders are playing, 4D chess over here. Because now you have to think about so many different factors of not only getting the first point in 1 minute and 9 seconds of time, but the fact that you also have to think further ahead in the map. You know you have to get the second point. You know you have to get another 50 meters on top of that. So how do you want to coordinate your ultimates? How are you going to coordinate what composition you want to use? And obviously, if you're in their boots, you have to say, well, we almost have to throw everything we have, even the kitchen sink, into every fight, right? Because we cannot afford to lose one single one. But you still have to know in the back of your mind of, well, if you're Tavik here, or if you're Nevix, like, should I ult? Like, do I feel like deep down we can win this fight without my ultimate? And if we can, if I don't use my ultimate and we don't win the fight, we could have just lost the map because of me doing that. So there's a lot of pressure on a lot of the individual DPS players on the side of Misfits, not to mention even the supports. If like Zebosai gets caught out, but he wants to trans to stay alive because he needs to be with his team, but you have to somehow deal with like Swoosh, who has a blade later on, and then you don't have a response. It's a very tough place to be in mentally if you're now the attacking team here at a Misfits.
And it's the complete opposite for Movistar Riders.
Yeah.
They have the
time to work with.
Exactly, they have the time to work with. they could leisurely build up their ultimates, save up for 6, and just go for one big team fight, especially with Finzi on this Zarya. She's going to have the Graviton Surge, and they could just connect it with Logix or even with Swoosh. Heck, even go with the nano-boosted Winston there just to tickle them all down. Now, Misfits, they are going to be going for that triple DPS composition once again. Mindset out the gates with the 76 this time. Nevix on the Genji. Now, they go for a one-for-one exchange here, but the respawn does favor Misfits.
They're still stalling for time, though. I mean, they took another 5, 6, maybe 10 seconds of time off the payload from pushing. Logix is looking off to the side to get some easy damage, and he's already 50% practically on his ultimate. Tavix at 18. Someone just got slept up there. I think it was Tavik again, getting caught up by a sleep dart here, but Manton's finally able to respond. He takes down Logix. But Jamerson, 30 seconds to go here. Misfits have a lot of distance to cover.
Yeah, and they're just burning so much clock, our Movistar Riders. I mean, that's what we've been seeing in this meta, right? Make sure they don't get any meters for free so far. Now, they are getting the payload pushed, but Movistar Riders are just trying to regroup here.
All right, you see Manson, he always has his attack visor up. He's looking for a good position here on the high ground. So he gets some nice early kill here. Manson to pop his attack visor, realizing we need to win this fight. We need to keep this progression going. Now, Tavik with picking up those 2 kills is going to allow them to do just that. Vinci's going to fall too, but this goes back to what you said before, right, Jamerson? Movistar realized they have so much distance and so much time to worry about, or to not worry about, most importantly, is they can just wait for one big combo. You grab them off the point, boom, you win the game. Maybe Manson here, once we do see them cap the point, should switch to Diva, because they cannot let this grab come off, or they know they're going to be losing this map.
Yeah, that is going to be very telling what Manson does in these next few seconds. Instead, he sprints forward with that Soldier 76, so they're not going to look for any kind of mitigation. And so far, Finzi hasn't been able to build up much, but he has plenty of time. He's at 66% right now, and really, Movistar Riders, if they want to, this could be their go button, but with Kosti going on down, I don't think so. Zebasai finding the second kill onto Swoosh there. They're just trying to burn as much time, because remember, the longer overtime goes on, the faster it'll burn away if they jump off the point.
It's such a different second phase start for both these two teams, where Movistar actually pushed into the spawn of Misfits practically, or Misfits stayed grouped together. Logix could have went big with a pulse bomb, and now it's Finzi at 75%. You have a grab pulse bomb combo. Misfits have nothing to stop this except maybe somehow Mineral gets a sound barrier off at the perfect time. Mineral, the pressure's all on him. He has to hit a sound barrier at the right time to prevent Movistar from actually closing them out. Then Zebasai has to trance after that to make sure they can all stay alive. But even if you do that, you still have Swoosh with the blade ready to go after.
I mean, they could even also go with the nano boosted tracer there, just to give it that a little bit extra oomph with that pulse bomb. But Finzi is still struggling to actually get it. Yeah, sound barrier used by Misfits, and it just completely fizzled there. Now that's going to force Misfits to go ahead and use their Transcendence too. Now both support ultimates are gone. But Manhattan did get the kill on to Neptuno there as he was trying to go for his own beat.
I say, okay, they're letting themselves wipe. They're letting themselves reset here. They have the ultimates. They have every piece of the puzzle to finish this one off. They don't need the pulse bomb anymore because they have the Graviton and the Dragon Blade. There's no sound barrier. There's no Transcendence. Misfits have nothing to stop this grab from coming in. I really want to see someone switch to Driva here. You have to go for the Hail Mary, Defense Matrix E onto that Graviton Surge to somehow come back from this one, because you're not going to do anything if that grab lands.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe it's largely Manhattan that plays the Zarya on the side of Misfits here, and he's sitting on that tactical visor, so it might be a little bit of a gambler's fallacy at this point. There we go, we've got the Nano Blade coming on in, immediately jumps onto Zebasai, takes him on down, but Manhattan had the answer, had the reply, takes him on out, but Logix comes in, gets a triple kill, and this might just be it. Movistar Riders forcing them on the point. Kosti cleans up Nevix, and now it's all down to Zebasai and Tavik to try and keep this alive, but with Tavik going on down, that will be Movistar Riders completing out Route 66.
Misfits could have actually pulled that one back there. The fact that they grabbed super late, Swoosh bladed in super early, even though Misfits had no defensive ultimates to stop that one, that actually could have went terribly for them. And maybe that's the exhaustion really kicking in for Movistar Riders, who have had to play obviously a lot of games as well as Misfits, because with, I mean, that could have easily been Misfits taking that map if they just combo things a little bit differently.
I think we're going to see Logix play the game again. That, yeah, triple pulse bomb. Now it's from his point of view here, just stalking, lurking, waiting for it.
Oh, was that Soon? Was Soon playing on Logix's account right there? Because that's the type of flicks you see Soon do all the time.
We need to do an IP
check?
Yeah, check on that. No, but yeah, and talk about like just that very last fight that was a little bit closer maybe for comfort for Movistar Riders, but their attack phase there in overtime was almost textbook as far as ult usage. I mean, they were countering ults and utilizing ults so much better, and they just snowballed that in their favor. And one finer point that I just want to point out that they actually used throughout this entire map, not even just in that overtime, really well, is, well, we saw a 76 tac visor going into defense matrix, and this is something we've been seeing a lot lately. And honestly, Finzi has been one that has been at the receiving end of that defense matrix more than maybe he wants to. But what they were doing is Logix was actually pulse bomb prioritizing D.Va early on in a lot of those fights. And I know that this is something that's very near and dear to Uber's heart. So he'll be happy to see that they've been improving in that area. But that enabled them to utilize their other ultimates even in earlier stages. But what else about Movistar really stood out there in that last part?
I'd say maybe forcing ultimates out of Misfits in a way that Misfits wasn't destined to use them, right? I didn't really see too many trances out of Zeba's side that countered, like Dragon Blade out of Swoosh. Then again, Swoosh didn't have like the takeover 2 kind of plays he had before, right? I think they were able to kind of control Misfits a little bit better than Misfits really wanted to give them room and give them space. Yeah. Finzi as well, he held on to a lot of tac visors, and I wonder if that was just because of the D.Va he was really worried about out of Manatin. Or,
I'd have to look at it again to see when he was actually popping those out.
But I mean, they won, so it's hard to kind of criticize them, right?
I think one of the more crucial things was the Logix versus Tavik matchup. Tavik looked pretty uncomfortable because, well, Logix had the support of Dante. Dante was landing some crucial sleep darts onto Tavik as he tried to get into the back line. We saw, I believe, at least twice in very important parts of the map where the sleep dart comes in, they're able to clean him up, and Tavik just wasn't able to be as impactful as we normally see him on that Tracer role.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we're moving on to Nepal next. Okay. And so while we may not have seen all of the Swoosh plays that we hoped and dreamed that time around, we may get to another opportunity here on Nepal. What are your thoughts coming into this one? And it was one that went over to Misfits in that original 3-1 match victory for Misfits. But what are our thoughts based on what we're seeing today?
I'd say Misfits compared to TakeOver, minus like them versus Movistar Riders, but they did eventually like win the series 3-1, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter. I think Misfits are playing a lot better, but we're going to see basically identical compositions out of both teams. And I feel like at the moment, Movistar Riders just have more pack for their punch. Pack for pound for punch, pound punch.
They're packing the punch.
Packing the punch with pounds. I think Logix has been playing to the same level, if not better than Tavik so far in the series. Not necessarily an individual skill, but he's been taking advantage of like where people are and where the healing's been and the focus has been. But I feel like still Swoosh is playing Genji a lot better than Nevix.
Yeah, during Take, we actually saw that Logix wasn't as there as Swoosh was.
True.
Swoosh was definitely the hard carry with that Genji throughout that weekend, but Logix so far has been doing an amazing job on that Tracer. So it looks like we're going to Village for our first point here on Nepal. Movistar Riders just 1 point away from moving on to the finals.
Okay, so it looks like Movistar Riders going to be switching things up just a little bit. So maybe not seeing the mirror comps just yet, but they've got the Zarya to Finzi. They got Swoosh playing D.Va, and they got Colsey on Winston. So a very tanky lineup here, but with no Ana. So any damage you do here to Misfits kind of sticks for a little bit longer than obviously Movistar would like to see. And Misfits will be running the double DPS, the 2-2-2, with Manatin over on the D.Va.
Here we'll see if Finzi can do a better job of trying to build up his Graviton Surge a little bit quicker than he did on Route 66. I mean, there is Manatin on that D.Va there for him trying to farm it off of. He's currently at 15% so far. I haven't been able to see the barriers, how he's been using those so far, but Logix facing off against Tavik once again in the high ground as the recall. He does have to back off. Colsey gets that first frag on to reinforce.
Finzi's at about 75 energy too. Like this man has been able to get a lot of these bubbles up at the right time, and he's taking advantage of Manatin on the D.Va. Obviously, Zarya counters D.Va so strongly, and you build up a lot of extra ult percent. He's already at 44%. Not too bad for himself at all, but there's always the potential for him to build up a little bit more energy. The problem is he's now gone down. The point's been unlocked for quite a long time here. We've had double sound barriers come out from both teams, trying to really contest this one, trying to get this first fight in their side.
Yeah, just awkward positioning coming out from Movistar Riders there as Finzi was just caught off from the rest of his supports. If he could have just stayed alive with that 70 energy, it could have been huge, but now Logix and Colsey going forward. Transcendence is going to be used by Movistar Riders, and the point still hasn't even been taken.
Finzi actually did drop. He switched over to Soldier, so he dropped the 50% ultimate he had built up because they realized they want this Soldier played. Now, the difference of how that fight happened was that Misfits didn't have a trance. Zebasai didn't have it up in time to deal with it at the same time Dante did. However, what's good for Misfits is that they will have trance, and Dante won't when it comes to Nevix using his Dragon Blade. So Misfits, yeah, they give the first initial capture. but they have all the tools in the kit they need to actually shut this one down. It's just whether or not Nevix can hit these shots, get these blades off the right targets.
Yeah, that's a hard engage coming out from Misfits so far. Nevix gets the deflect kill onto Dante with then, like you had just mentioned, they didn't have the Transcendence to try and counter it, but Movistar Riders already have 28-29 on the board as Misfits are slowly starting to clean them up. Logix does finally answer, taking out Zebasai, but too little too late as Tvik once again on this Tracer, cleaning up Swoosh here. They're doing a really good job of actually delaying so far on the point.
Yeah, another, what, 10-15% build up for themselves, which obviously does allow Misfits to build up a lot of extra percent. Oh, that was cheeky, if you can pull that one off. Pretty sure you can. Maybe just realize we don't have the time to do it. Doesn't want to be spotted out, but you can see him. He's being a lot more aware, though. I've never really seen Tvik have to play to this kind of awareness to deal with another Tracer. He's expecting Logix to come from these odd angles because Logix, for the most part, has been able to deal with them. That self-destruct's going to be in a really good position. And Mineral, the Lucio player, is going to go down to the self-destruct.
Yeah, spying them out on the high ground. Swoosh was able to get that in there, so now they've got the 6v5 advantage. Logix drops down low. Doesn't have his recall. Is already down to 20 HP, but he does force back to Vic. Now Finzi finds the kill onto Nevix. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange on the point so far as Finzi pushes forward. He's so close to his tactical visor, but they've largely already won the fight on the side of Movistar Riders.
Yeah, they haven't taken the point back, so we're actually seeing a tie-up in percentages here. Eventually, they will cap it over. As you can see, Misfits just try to stall for as long as they can. But they actually have a lot of people here still. They have to look at the Pulse One, who could come up huge. Now, Zebasai already going down. It does give the man advantage over to Movistar Riders, and then they just keep snowballing this advantage one by one, picking up kill after kill, and they continue to push out, solidify the last few, and really put their dominance down on this first point.
Yeah, now, ultimate advantage in favor of Movistar Riders. They've got the tactical visor, they've got the sound barrier along with the Transcendence and the Pulse Bomb. Misfits are coming up on a few of their own also.
Yeah, but Misfits are really depending on these offensive ultimates out of Tvik and Nevix to be what wins them these fights. But when you have Dante with the Trance ready to counter Nevix with the Blade, it can shut it down. The problem is, Dante, I think, got focused down. He uses Trance a little bit earlier on, and now Nevix has the possibility to use his Blades. He takes Dante down. Zebasai there just to back up to make sure he stays healthy. At this point, we'll definitely turn back to Misfits.
They're doing a good job of stalling, though. Nevix was actually hiding Finzi was just hiding in the corner, trying to be as stealthy as possible. 77% on the side for Movistar Riders. Before they flip it, they got a lot of ultimates out from the Misfits, though.
Yeah, they did. They really did. I think Misfits just wanted to solidify that point, and they're gonna be fighting like an upward on an upward slope, fighting uphill. My puns, my analogies are just off the board today. They're so terrible.
You're so close with
I'm
them,
almost there. But that sticks to coming on to Finzi. That's to get that initial kill.
Yeah, we had Swoosh try to go for that self-destruct once again, but it did not connect this time, and now Tvik really coming alive. Finding 2 kills there, taking out Neptuno. Logix tries to answer in kind, but it's still not quite enough yet for Movistar Riders. Misfits, just one more team fight to win this first point.
Uphill battle. That's what I was looking for here, Jamerson. I got there eventually. That's all that matters, right? But we do have the tac visor ready. Manson does have a self-destruct, and this goes back to what you talked about before, right? If you self-destruct, you can't defense matrix, and that gives a great opportunity for them to fight, but they don't even need to, actually, they're not gonna get the tac visor off because Nevix has himself a double kill with the Swift Strike, and with Movistar now in overtime, the respawn's gonna come in slower. Misfits still have not lost a single man on point, and Misfits looking strong to pull this first point in their favor.
Yeah, there's gonna be easy cleanup. We've even got that Dragon Blade coming out from Nevix, but Finzi's just gonna go ahead and jump off the ledge there. Misfits walk away with the first point here on Nepal.
All right, so looking good for Misfits again, Movistar. Thing is, like, I would rather see Finzi play the Diva and keep Swoosh on the Genji than run Genji Tracer Diva instead of seeing Swoosh have to go from the big damage to their playmaker to have to play like a Diva who you obviously wants to play aggressive with, but sometimes you need to play defensive. So just a little bit of differences in compositions. I think Finzi can play Diva, but it kind of shows the mindset of what they wanted to run for that first point.
I think more often than not, when they do swap off from Swoosh's Diva, it's Logix that picks it up, from what I can remember from Take. But now we are on to Sanctum, and it is just going to be mirrored compositions, triple DPS coming out from both sides.
Yeah, so the first fight's really going to show how this game's going to go. Here you can see Tvik, he's trying to go for the flank. Off towards the side, get some early damage in. Has to be very careful with his recall, though. He only has a small window to really use it, or else he's just going to fall into the pit of death. But they get the high ground control initially, and now he's waiting to go in directly behind them here. I don't believe he's been spotted out, but look at this. They're allowing Movistar to get aggressive, which allows Tvik to get an easy flank here, directly on Dante. That's gonna be him and Nevix pairing together to take down Finzi too. That's what you want to see out of Misfits. That's how you play this dive comp in tandem well with 2 DPS.
There was almost no delay on that whatsoever. As soon as he spotted him out, you saw Nevix jump right on top of him. Great communication coming out from Misfits here, and they're really starting to come alive here on Nepal.
Let's see. Point still hasn't been captured, though. You can see Logic trying to buy some time, and eventually, I would imagine he should fall here, but he's got backup coming in. Swoosh there to join him. Logic will go down to Manatin. But Reinforce, they've lost their big front tank line. But eventually, Misfits do capture the point, but at what cost? They've lost out quite a few people here, and they might take the point, yes, but for only a couple seconds.
Yeah, 6%, 7% ticking on up as they are starting to clean up. It's Finzi with that Soldier 76, and now Swoosh with the dash reset gets that kill onto Mineral. So Misfits are only able to secure 14% there, and they committed an ultimate into it with that pulse bomb.
Let's see, Zebasai 80%, Dante 70% on Trances, Swoosh, and Nevix. Kind of similar in terms of ult percent. This game's going to come down to who can bait out or who can force out the Trance early. You can see Reinforce again trying to dive in really deep here. Finzi off to the side, though, has no pressure against him, so he's now the opportunity to pick up a lot of free damage. That pulse bomb's come in. It actually forced Zebasai to use his Transcendence to stay alive here. Now Swoosh is going to be looking like, all right, free kills for me here.
Yeah, Dante is going to use that himself, but oh, huge pickup coming on out as Zebasai gets the frag onto Finzi, so he's not going to be able to use that tactical visor, and that allows Misfits to fight right back into this. Dragon Blade out for Nevix. He's only got one kill so far, taking out Dante, but that might have just been enough as we only got this Tracer here. Orb of Discord on her. She's going to go down. Neptuno thought of trying to jump on over, try and contest, but Movistar Riders will lose that point at 43%.
Well done by Misfits, actually, to even though not have Transcendence, to still deal with Swoosh having that blade available. I think Reinforce is able to get on top of him directly to really get that damage in onto him and force him to play a little bit more defensive than he wants to play with the blade out. But nonetheless, Misfits are trying to build this ult percent. They have quite a few ultimates to use, but with Mineral going dropping, they've lost their sound barrier. And it looks like Movistar are going to swarm over this point.
Yeah, Logic's had that flank. He's forcing them into the cubby portion here as Tavik is able to get the pulse bomb kill onto Dante. But during that time, Movistar Riders flip the point. Now it's being contested by Misfits.
Nevix getting some good support out of Reinforce. Their sound barrier going to be popped out of Mineral. Keep everyone healthy so they have a chance to take this point back here. As again, Manson Nevix able to chime back in, picking up those kills. And eventually Movistar will fall one by one. So really hectic fight so far between these two teams. It's basically a bloodbath. Both these teams really want to pick this match, and for Movistar, it's a rematch from TakeOver, and for Misfits, it's a chance to really solidify that, yes, maybe TakeOver, what they were doing was a little bit of a fluke, and maybe they've worked past the problems that they've had at that time.
Been a short week, though, to make these adjustments, and Movistar Riders, they've got a lot to prove. You know, they won 2 back-to-back big European tournaments, and they want to be able to remain like the top dogs so far in EU, but Misfits are giving them a go for it so far. Movistar Riders regrouping in the makeup room, but Tavik, with that crucial kill onto Neptuno, are going to slow them down.
Yeah, it's going to force the reset here, so it's going to get Misfits to about 80-85% before they have to force another fight, but Nevix, he's got his blade. He has a small window to work with here with Dante at 95% on his Trance, but that window is basically gone now as we're finally seeing Movistar group up and try to go back in. So again, can Tavik stick Dante, maybe force out the Trance early? It looks like he's not able to, and it's actually already fallen here.
Yeah, and the Dragon Blade does come out from the side of Movistar Riders. Swoosh already picking up 2 kills. And they might have just done it. Misfits don't need to commit any more ultimates into this. They do have another fight, maybe 2 fights left in them as Logic cleans up Manatin there at the end.
All right, so you see Misfits really banking on maybe Tavik hitting Dante there, who again positioned themselves really well. I think Dante and Neptuno were actually working really well as a support core for the team, trying to keep each other alive, really realizing when the help needs to be there. As well as Finzi, trying to stick to Dante to give him that biotic field and heal him up whenever he does need. But Logic's coming around. He's looking for the win side. I think he's looking for Reinforce ideally here. But those are 2 initial kills coming through. Movistar Riders have no response to it.
Yeah, Nevix was just right on top of Finzi that entire time. Takes him out of the equation. They're just winning these 10 fights so handily. Now Reinforce getting the jump kill onto Logic's 97-98. And there's no one from Movistar Riders to even get close. That's going to be the second point for Misfits. And they're just 1 point away from tying it up in this best-of-3 series.
So I don't want to get ahead of myself here, Jamerson, but there's an opportunity we're going to be going to a 3rd map in this series. And that's going to be onto Assault. And both these teams pride themselves on how well they can do on Assault. I know Misfits said, or Tavik said to me, yeah, they practice Assault a ton. They realize it's a game mode that teams really need to be able to play and play well, because it's going to be played a lot more often in the way these formats are set up, and you have to know how to play that game mode. You can't, expect to win without being able to play everything equally. And same for Movistar, they actually put a lot of pride in themselves in how they've been able to perform on those maps, especially with their Tuno being able to flex over to Sombra. It's very likely we could have something like that happen. But still, Misfits need to win this map here before we can even get to that point. So maybe we're a little bit ahead of ourselves, or I'm a little bit ahead of myself. And we're seeing Movistar react with a little bit of a different comp. Finzi running the Zarya again.
Yeah, Finzi going for that Zarya again, and that allowed them to win that initial fight when they were on Village, but they just were having trouble closing that on out. Swoosh, deflag down, has to be careful as the Winston is right there in front of him. It's gonna be Nevix that takes out Finzi, and so with the tank line gone, with the damage mitigation gone, Misfits are now cleaning house.
Misfits looking good here. I actually personally thought Koth was going to be one of their weaker game modes. Control a little bit difficult for them, especially with the communication problems maybe they're having within the team. But either way, the initial hold, they still haven't been able to pick the point just yet because they want to solidify these kills before they do it. Go for that extra 0%. Manton having a pretty good game on Soldier, actually. Been hit a lot of these Helix rockets, and his tracking has been on point. And Tvik just, he's not having a good time here on Trace, so he's not able to get these blinks the way he wants to.
Oh, misses that jump once again, but this time it helps him spot out Logix, and Logix will be able to get that mega health pack, starting to win this trade so far. Hasn't forced out the recall quite yet, but he has the backup of his team. So smart the way Logix is playing that too, because he got the health pack right away to have that advantage, and they immediately started fighting Tvik towards the other health pack, so he didn't have to use his recall. And you saw Tvik there at 60 HP, but he wants to keep his recall, because in a Tracer v Tracer battle, whoever recalls first is probably going to lose. Oh, Reinforced drops first to Finzi, who had swapped off onto Soldier 76, and that's going to be a two-man pulse bomb coming off from Logis, and he has been getting so much value off these pulse bombs so far. With that, Movistar Riders will flip the point, but Misfits have already gotten 37%.
Swoosh has Blade ready to go too. Zebasai, he'll have his trans in time. I would imagine we're going to see Swoosh come in that early. Still, it's going to be very tough, I think, for Movistar to keep this momentum up with just them being 2-0 down. Obviously, they have the potential to pull this one back, but it's been a long day for both these two teams, and you start to have these little mistakes happen, and those little mistakes snowball into bigger mistakes, but we've seen the push coming out of Misfits, pop the attack visor, and we did have Swoosh use the Blade. But Zebasai immediately responds with a trance, so not really going to accomplish too much off that. Yeah,
Madsen used that in response to Swoosh's Blade, so he's not going to get anything of it whatsoever. Misfits with a great retake here, cleaning up the majority of Movistar Riders without losing a single member there. Only using, really, 2 ultimates.
Yeah, and now they have Nevix with the Blade coming up. They've got Tvik setting up for a pulse bomb. Actually, are they going to go high ground or are they going to go main? It looks like they're going to be going main here. Tvik's been able to do this before. It'd be very sneaky. If he hits a pulse, if he sticks a pulse bomb, it's basically a guaranteed one fight. Oh. I don't know what he just threw that into, but it wasn't a person, I'll tell you that. Maybe it was a wall. But still, he's applying the pressure from the backside. He's forced them to look in multiple directions, and Kosti jumps in without the support of his team.
Yeah, Kosti going down immediately. That's the tank for the side of Movistar Riders. Now they are re-engaging on the side of Misfits here. Logic's just trying his best to pepper them from the side, but that's going to allow Reinforce to get a second frag onto Dante, and now they're just pushing them back into their spawn. Our Misfits, they're one team fight away from sending this to a map number 3.
Logic's still looking for a pulse bomb here. You can see he's just trying to... I think he's trying to force the 1v1 fights against Tvik, because Tvik has been playing a lot better sneaky beaky like, where Logix has been playing better in general, just in the front and the forefront, trying to battle him out 1v1. We're going to see his final push income from Movistar. They have a lot of ultimates to use here too.
Now, Kosti, he does have that Primal Rage, so he can delay on the point for as long as he wants. They've got the ultimate advantage too, and there we go. That's the man advantage as Neptuno finds the frag onto Madison, but now that Blade is gone as Dante. It's the supports coming up huge for Movistar Riders. Finzi getting free damage off with the Soldier 76. Now he's onto Zebasai here as he'll fall, and that's going to allow Movistar Riders, without really using any ultimates, other than the pulse bomb, to get that point.
That was like the most ideal retake for Movistar Riders. Like you said, they committed only a pulse bomb out of Logix, but with supports with Dante and Neptuno picking up those kills, they win without having to expend anything. And Control is all about ultimate control and ultimate management. And now with the fact they have 5 available, they can counter anything Misfits throws to them. Yeah, all right, you're gonna use a Blade. All right, we have a trance. All right, you get a pulse bomb. Well, we have a sound barrier to protect that. It's gonna be very hard for a retake for Misfits here unless they force a lot of ultimates.
All right, Transcendence came out a little bit early, but there's the Dragon Blade on out from the side of Movistar Riders. Nevix was holding on to his until the Transcendence fizzled, but already damage done by Movistar Riders. They cleaned up 4 members of Misfits. Now time is starting to tick away. 70% on the board for Movistar as they win out that team fight.
And Misfits used practically everything they had there, except Tvik's pulse bomb. You got Finzi with attack fires. All you need to do is just get on high ground here, and then as long as Tvik isn't there, you're gonna be able to have a strong start. Yeah, look at this great play out of this man to get on towards this position. And I'm gonna imagine when Kosti jumps from this area, they're not gonna expect a second person to be there, right? Which allows Finzi to just sit on that high perch and get so much damage in. Or maybe he's not gonna have an opportunity because we're seeing Misfits actually just pull back immediately once Movistar goes aggressive. They lost on 2 people here. Movistar, this was your fight to win.
Yeah, we saw them do this on Route 66 where they had like the better positioning, especially with the Soldier 76, Finzi on it. Doesn't matter though, as Misfits just had to go all out to try and get onto the point, to try and contest. That allowed Finzi to get free damage off, and now it's coming down to it. It looks like Movistar Riders might take this to a 4th point here.
Oh, they're trying to hold on here. See Reinforce trying to come back into the point, trying to stall as long as he possibly can. The overtime is taken away. Reinforce use that Primal Rage. He's going to continue to stall here. But where's the backbite of Misfits? Is anyone even close? Mineral's finally able to join back in to at least give him some support, but they have no damage. They have no one even on the damn point. And that's Movistar taking us to a 4th map here on Nepal.
I was a little bit scared there when Movistar Riders went for that engage. They pushed out beyond the line of sight of Finzi, or excuse me, of Finzi on that Soldier 76. So even though he had that positioning, it might have gone to waste there. But because Misfits, at the end, they just had to make that mad dash onto the point, give up, all sorts of positioning. They just got overwhelmed.
Finzi and Logix are playing as well as Swoosh and Logix together in terms of synergy. Like you saw Finzi, he got Zebasai low. Logix came in to clean him up. You saw him try to go for Mineral in the beginning. Then he had the back of Logix there to get some extra damage in. I think Movistar just really have such deep synergy between all the individual players that they're really a team that if you're not already looking out for them, you have to be careful of. Because if you underestimate this team, they're going to make you pay for it. But they still have a long way to go here to potentially pull off a 2-0. They have to take the next 2 points.
And now we're back onto Sanctum here. Misfits still sitting on map point. Logix gets the initial frag onto Madison. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange as the Tracers once again being really impactful. It's going to be to Vic though that picks up a double, taking out Dante. Now Nevix with a great deflect, just controlling the majority of Movistar Riders.
And Tavik did literally the same thing he did last time on this map. He flanked from the back, picked up some early kills, but it just doesn't matter, it seems, because Misfits have lost out on too many people. They're not going to get the initial capture in Movistar. Seems like they hit their 2nd wind here, because they're really starting to perform well. They're really starting to play well together as a team and really starting to hit these focus targets down at the right times.
So Movistar Riders walk away with the point first. Already got 4%, but Misfits to Vic. He's got that pulse bomb. He hasn't been landing the 2-3-man pulse bombs that we're used to seeing out of these high-impact Tracer players yet. Been largely Logix. We'll see if he can open it up with, though. As they push forward from the high ground, Colsey comes in, gets the kill onto Nevix as Madison now backing away. They do have the man disadvantage on the side of Misfits.
Yeah, you can see the Finzi, he's trying to hold on to his tac visor. They realize we could probably win this fight. They're trying to force us to use ultimates. Let's not commit anything as he's able to take down Zebasai there at the last second. And Logix is still looking for more. He's still looking to keep applying this pressure on Tavik. Don't let this man get comfortable. And if you do that, you keep Misfits off balance. It's like a table with, 3 legs. It's just not really going to stand too well. And they really need Tavik to maybe deal with Logix a little bit more, or maybe him have a little bit of help with him and Nevix if they can focus down onto Logix.
Yeah, we saw earlier on that he was checking these angles, trying to predict where Logix was earlier on, and it still looks like he's playing a little bit more tentative as Swoosh pushes forward. He's got that Dragon Blade out, but it's going to be Tavik, lands the pulse bomb onto Finzi. Now they do have the Transcendence coming out from both sides here as the Primal Rage was used by Reinforce.
And we're seeing the Sound Barrier being used as well here. I don't know, Tuna trying to keep them alive because we've had Nevix pop off the Dragon Blade, but it doesn't matter because Misfits are investing everything they have into this fight. We have the Tac Visor coming through as well, and Logix, he's just stalling for time. But hey, 75, 72% build up for them as Misfits finally do turn the tides. The Movistar still have ultimates to use.
Yep.
And by ultimates, I mean ultimate.
Ultimate. But the way these Tracer players play, Logix should have his soon along with Tavik, and this time Tavik was able to get it. Highly valuable kill onto Finzi, taking out that tactical visor. That just out of the equation allows you to go so much more aggressive. Now Misfits are going to push forward. Tavik gets the kill onto Dante, and Finzi down again. Movistar Riders just reset.
Well, you see that Tavik makes the call. Nevix, Reinforce both jump in. So does Tavik at the last second from a different angle and just collapse on them completely. They invested nothing into that fight. They get those crucial ultimates build up even more now. And I just wonder how much more is Movistar going to let Misfits keep doing this? How much longer are they going to let Tavik constantly hide around these corners and not check them? He's done the same initial start on this map twice against them now. And he's constantly around that corner to the left-hand side of Nevix here, just waiting for them to push up.
It's been a difficult read because I don't think they've actually been able to see it, right? The way the initial engagement starts off, it's Nevix jumping in and then Tavik going in afterwards. And so they might feel that Nevix is the initiator, the one that spots it all out. But it's actually been Tavik, like you had mentioned, just getting all this information for Misfits.
Oh, he's looking for that pulse bomb. You can see he's just trying to spot out on the Colsey. Let's hit that easy target. There's every opportunity to do it here. Not to mention, Movistar is still delayed. They're still actually being very slow to push on towards this point. So that percent continues to tick up here. And Nevix has a blade ready to go. Dante, he's got no transcendence to stop this one. His Reinforcers are going to jump in. They're forcing them into this tight area, into this room. And Swoosh is going to be the first one to pop.
We have the Transcendence getting used by Zebasai, but it's a little too late as Logix comes in. Once again, another two-man pulse bomb. Nevix tries to answer in kind, though, picks up 3. Might have just equalized this, stabilized it for Misfits, but Logix will clean him up.
Oh, that was a big kill, too. And he's just somehow able to dodge away from Tvik. Reinforcers just going to jump in. He does get that point into overtime. They know they can potentially have the man advantage. Just Manson here now off to the side is able to pick up that first initial kill. Even Miro somehow is able to chime in on the coasting. The overtime is taken away here. Movistar, then he gets sold on the point. Swoosh, he's going to be the man to do it. But the Sound Bear is going to be used on a miss just to stall as long as they possibly can. And Swoosh again is going to be the man to touch the point. But he needs backup. They need to start getting kills.
Yeah, now they're just getting cleaned up one by one. Misfits were able to do it off the back of Nevix. That was a huge Dragon Blade, picking up 3 kills, bought them enough time, and took enough people off the point that Misfits were just able to come in with Maniton and clean up and get that win. Misfits walking away with a 3-1 here on Nepal.
It's like the complete opposite of Takeover here, where Swoosh got play of the game every single time. Now it's Logix the one with these pulse bombs, time and time again, being consistent and consistently hitting these pulse bombs is never an easy thing to do as a Tracer, especially getting multi-man kills with it.
I mean, every pulse bomb I use personally is pretty much a multi-man kill.
I mean, when you're in bronze, it's easy to do, right?
I don't really know what the problem is. Oh,
I'm
wow.
sorry. It's too
sad.
easy. If Mitch isn't here for me to make fun of, I have to pick someone,
Okay,
right?
I will be the pseudo Mitch, the stand-in, so to speak, for this one. If it means we can watch more games like that, because that was a lot of fun. And this is the first one we've seen go to 3 here, at least this weekend. And these teams are just so closely matched up. And now you were going into Assault. So, I mean, what are our expectations coming into that? I mean, these at the end of this one, they were both just playing that standard dive composition, just going mano a mano. And, I mean, we saw Tvik having standout plays on Tracer. Of course, Logic has been playing his mind out with his Tracer. Anything we could expect as far as switch-ups coming into Assault?
I think it comes down to the map.
Yeah.
If we're getting Temple of Anubis, I think we're going to see Sombra be a big factor, especially for Movistar Riders on attack and defense. Whereas Misfits, they don't really, I mean, I'm trying to think, Jamerson, they don't really run it as much. I know they have the possibility to, since Zebasai can easily flex over to that, since he has played DPS before for the team, but I don't know how much they've actually practiced with the Sombra.
I don't think they played it at all during Take.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
They didn't, but Movistar Riders, them and E United, they were the ones that were most prevalent on that Sombra, bringing it out on different occasions. I mean, we even saw it on Hollywood. So they have fleshed out this strategy here, and we'll see if Misfits can actually deal with it. They did have to face off against, was it Cloud? Was it Cloud?
Movistar had to play against Cloud9 and best of one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, and just looking at the statistics for the different Assault maps, Temple of Anubis was the one that Movistar Riders had the best luck on. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that is our pick. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm sure it's going to be the exact opposite.
I was going to say, that's the commentator's curse, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just calling out the numbers, okay? But no, and so I guess we'll see Hanamura being the other option in the pool. And, I mean, I guess I would personally like to see Hanamura just because we've been seeing a lot of Temple of Anubis lately. And there's some interesting things you can do. I would say you see the most flexibility on Hanamura, teams trying to unlock different things. We actually have seen some Sombra on Hanamura defense first.
Oh, yeah, I mean, even United on attack had run it a couple times with Unfixed. And we actually, I remember it was like Reinforced, myself, and I think Bren were like kind of questioning, maybe you shouldn't continue to be running the second phase. It's a lot harder to hit a really good EMP. But, I mean, United, they got farther than Misfits did, so Reinforced can't really talk, right? No, I'm being so BM today. But, no, yeah, it's always a possibility. We have seen it on... I'm trying to think if we've seen it on defense too much, because it's really hard to run it on first point with just health pack positioning.
Defense, not quite, no.
Yeah.
No, we've well, not in EU, but last week, actually, we saw them playing it where I think it was, who was it? And they would put Roadhog in the mega room, like... very forward on the offensive side of the choke with a Sombra hacked pack, and then he would just like heal himself. He'd have a health pack every once in a while, and he was just like a one-man like death room in there. It did not also work out very well. Though,
I was going to say.
It was like good, cool theory crafting. I was like, oh, this is an interesting. And then I think Louis maybe was playing it, if I remember correctly, in that room.
Okay.
So we might see some unlocked potential on Hanamura as we'll be going into that. And that will be the map as it turns out. Yeah, and I guess looking at these teams, Misfits does have a winning record on it from last week. They only played it once or twice that I know of, but...
I think it comes down to just how the teams are playing at the moment. I mean, these teams are so equally matched in compositions that they've been running, but also in map pool in general. Like we were saying before, like both teams have said they're very proficient on on Assault, but it comes down to like who's playing well today. Like obviously Swoosh has been struggling a little bit, where Logic's had to step in. We saw Tavik struggling a little bit, but Nevix is starting to step up a little bit. It just comes down to like, I hate to say this term, but like any given Sunday, who's really the man that's going to step.
Yeah, and at this point, though, I think Tavik is really starting to come alive. It just took him a little bit longer. The Nevix bought him that crucial time, though. I mean, if we saw the performance there on Nepal there, he's the one that saved it in the final moments of that final point there. But now we are on to Hanamura. It is match point for both teams to see who's going to move on to the grand finals to face off.
It's United.
United.
Yeah. I don't even know who I want to win to see in that match, because like it's pretty much guaranteed to be a great grand finals. I think with Hex and ZP bringing you that match, so it's gonna have a lot of highs in that one between the two. I think for Misfits in particular, it's important to them as a team to make it to the grand finals and win. Because they've had so many struggles. Back until Extreme Masters Gyeonggi, they really struggled in that one where Rogue, fared a little bit better after the three-way trade. They just haven't hit that stride, right? And I feel like that's just a big personal victory for them and would maybe take a lot of pressure off their shoulders that they can make it there. But Movistar are giving them a run for their money. They're not letting them get there easy. And I honestly could not call who's going to win this match.
Yeah, I don't know if Tavik is just trolling a little bit there, missed his rocket jump to get onto high ground ledge, but this is an interesting setup coming out from Misfits. They are going for that 2-2-2 once again, but they're holding the high ground above that mini on the right side of the point.
So they're trying to force Movistar to come to them, and Movistar's obviously not going to be running a Reinhardt, so they're not too worried about them taking that building control from them. They're expecting maybe Movistar to move in towards the left-hand side, have those two make it to their advantage, and come in from the high ground of the point.
Movistar Riders out the gates once again with that triple DPS composition. Finzi on the Soldier 76. They spot them out. Swoosh does, at least onto Nevix, but he gets tagged by that biotic rifle.
Yeah, Zebasai trying to apply the pressure really against him to not give him the freedom and the comfort that Swoosh wants to or needs to play with the Genji. But again, giving up the high ground control here. Movistar trying to play this angle, which allows Finzi in this position to get a lot of free damage in. As long as he doesn't just get completely shut down by Zenyatta, which we don't even have on the side of Misfits, then he should be fine here. But Tvik's trying to challenge down against him, and we can't forget, we don't see Tvik playing Soldier much, but he's a really good Soldier.
Now, interesting thing is, Movistar Riders, they were given the tick for free at this point, almost a minute's ticked away, as Logix does get the D-Mech onto Manitin, but Nevix finds the frag onto Neptuno. And so support for the tank so far, as Swoosh, though, is answering back, taking out his counterpart. Now this is the snowball that we see in these fights, especially when you've got that Genji ready to go with the dash resets.
But Zebo, he's got his nano, so the snowball effect here shouldn't really work. But Dante and Finzi are getting really actually scarily close to their ultimates. That actually worries me a lot, because Nevix isn't going to have his blade, and you're going to allow Finzi, if you can get him into the spot, into the middle ground, get him set up, let him get this tac visor off, then you have Dante to play a little bit close to point. If you can protect him once he gets there, Misfits don't have a great response to it unless Tavik can just somehow beat him in an aim battle, but he's going up against an aim-botting Soldier, so that's definitely not an easy feat for anyone.
Yep, Tavik at 95%, just need a crucial few more seconds to get it, but we've got the nano boost onto Reinforce, but the Transcendence immediately comes out from Movistar Riders. Point is being contested. It was very close to halfway being getting that first tick as Kolsty gets that kill onto Tavik, but Nevix will answer right on back, taking out Kolsty.
Yeah, that's the defender's advantage there. If you get 1 or 2 kills, you pretty much have guaranteed your hold onto the point, which allows them to be a little bit more aggressive. They didn't give up any actual percentage onto it either. It's not too big loss for them, and yet we're still seeing a big bloodbath break out here towards his right-hand side of the point. Eventually, Movistar will reset. And Neptuno will be forced to go back on that respawn. Kolsty, yeah, don't go for it, man. Just let it go. Let it go.
Misfits more than okay with taking the fight there on the outside. They do have that defender's advantage in terms of respawn distance, and also just staggering Movistar Riders, trying to burn off as much time off their clock. I mean, they still have 5 minutes and 30 seconds. They have 4 ultimates moving into this next push.
And there's no chance to stop this one because Misfits aren't running it. They do have the sound barrier to mineral, but that sound barrier is not going to last forever. It's not going to last long against a blade or a visor. And we see Cyber coming in, slept on a swoosh. So the blade was not consumed though. So keep that in mind. He still has this one to use, but Misfits picked up that many kills. There's no need to invest that one. You're just gonna go for the reset, not commit any ultimates, and then go for another try.
Yeah, so only the sound barrier used there by Neptuno. Dante getting closer to his transcendence for the next push. Now, Misfits doing a good job so far. They need to burn off as much time as possible. Still 4 minutes and 50 seconds for Movistar Riders here.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that Misfits have to defend with. But if they continue to, stagger their ultimates, hit sleep darts like that, and they definitely will can pull this one off. Nevix is just looking for an opportunity to really use this blade towards this middle ground. He's also trying to, well, not the only man there to defend the middle ground, because he's going to have Reinforce to be able to jump in as well. But to Vic, already going down to Coasty.
Dragon Blade comes on out from both sides, but it's Swoosh that gets the first frag, taking out Mineral, and oh no! Nevix goes down, he got that nano boost, and so man advantage going on over for Movistar Riders, but Swoosh will go down.
That was
clean.
damn sexy. Yes. He gets up to the middle ground from that position, and he does at least force Manson away, but the self-destruct going to come in, not really going to do too much. A third of the point has been captured, so Movistar at least have that to fall back to, but to Vic on the high ground isn't being dealt with. And we saw this earlier on when you and I were watching some of the offline matches. You have to somehow deal with this, but you cannot allow a soldier to sit up there, or he's going to defend.
I think particularly we were looking at Monitros here on the side of Singularity Ninjas, who was able to continually get up top for that high ground. And even though Tavik was actually holding over by the front gate there, he just didn't try to contest them at all. Now, Tavik, he's going to be able to get this nice high ground angle. I really like that position. I just can never get that jump.
You're not the only one, man. Don't worry. I feel your pain. It's actually, yeah, the position can be really nice. I would be personally a little bit scared because I'm obviously as good a soldier as he is, but he's going to have the back for his team, so he should ideally be fine here. And you can just see Tavik again. I mean, his positioning is always flawless whenever he plays. But we're seeing Movistar with Finzi switching over to the D.Va, so we're seeing a little bit of a difference in their composition now. Trying to deal with the high ground control with him and Kosti jumping in together onto Tavik or whoever's up in that position, but again, they're just running directly into the blender as Misfits keep picking up the kills and they keep resetting the fights.
Yeah, with this composition, I'm more than okay with them just pushing through main. They don't have to go for this high ground. They've got so much mobility. They've got the D.Va, they've got the Genji, along with the Winston, that they don't need to really fight for it initially.
Well, I mean, we'll see how they feel about it, though. We'll see how they actually decide to make the fight happen. Obviously, it depends on a lot of information and how you want to call the fight and how you actually want to engage it. But you've got the nanovisor ready for Misfits, so they have the opportunity to actually shut this one down before it really engages. But Finzi, again, it comes down to his defense matrix. Can he mitigate this damage that Tavik can do? Close one's going to come through. Not really do too much, but Swoosh was out of position, gets caught up by Reinforce, and eventually does fall. And again, Misfits, you pick up one kill, you get the initial start, even a sound barrier. That had to have been a misclick out of Mineral. That had to have been. There was no reason.
Yeah, there was no reason at all, as Movistar Riders were already retreating off the point, so they won't have that for the next fight, but there isn't much to counter with it. He's going to have time to build it up again. Swoosh is getting closer to his Dragon Blade, but Reinforce with a Nano Boost can deal with it himself, or even Tavik with the Nano Visor.
It's very true. So using enough, I mean, the best defense is a good offense, right? So maybe that's the route they're going for. Because it's going to be hard for Swoosh to really get an opportunity with how spread out Misfits are to pick up multiple kills. He needs those resets, and I don't know if Misfits are going to allow him to really do this, but the amount of time that Movistar have had, they've not really accomplished really anything. They haven't really got the engagements they wanted to. It's not like they haven't tried, it's just that they keep losing that one man, right? And when that one man's down, you can't get the engagement, the fight that you want to force.
Nano Blades coming out from both sides, and we don't have the tactical visor getting committed by Tavik quite yet, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. Dante and Mineral going down. Logix, though, coming in with this Tracer, finds a second kill onto Manitin, and now they might have just cracked over the defense of Misfits, as Reinforce does answer on back. Primal Rage is getting used by both sides, but it's been largely Movistar Riders that have been winning this exchange so far.
Reinforce, he got 2 big kills, though. He killed Dante and Neptuno. He took out their healers, so even if Movistar do pick up these kills, every single point of damage they take is not going to be replenished. Even with the health packs that are around, it's just not enough HP, and they're going to have to go back to this drawing board, but 42.9% built up for him. Finzi's going to have a self-destruct, yes. He's not going to have really a great opportunity to use it. He's not looking for that to be, the can opener, the opener for this actual fight. Because there's just no way you're going to be able to hit enough people with it or force him in a position that you're really able to take advantage of without Swoosh having his blade. Maybe if Logix can sneak around and get a pulse bomb off, when they're all clumped together, it could be good, but I still don't see that really happening.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on the clock for Movistar Riders. Time is ticking away. They started it off point B with about 6 minutes left, but now it's all been dwindled away. Nice pulse bomb comes out from Logix, takes out Zebasai, but Manitin answered back, taking out Kolsti. Here comes the self-destruct out on the side of Movistar Riders. Is now going to connect. Swoosh will onto Nevix as the fight is taking place on the point so far. Tavik tries to push forward with that tactical advisor, but Finzi is there with that defense matrix. He does finally get some damage off with it, and with that Helix rocket will force the mech on out, and it looks like Misfits have just been able to stabilize as we do have Kolsti jumping onto the point, but the Dragon Blade comes out for Nevix. He's going to even get the Nano Boost onto Reinforce, and they will be able to clean up, and only 42.9% on the board for Movistar Riders.
So this is something that's always frustrated me about Misfits, is that with all the individual skill and all the individual talent they have within the team, I've never seen someone on their side be the opener for fights. I've never seen someone just like Nevix goes in, he gets a crazy kill, and then they have a 6-on-5, right? I've never seen really Tavik have that opportunity as well, unless it's maybe a pulse bomb coming through, but we're not really seeing the individual brilliance that Misfits do have to make these fights start off in their favor without having to commit ultimates, you know, with good positioning, with good aim. But I feel like here, finally, we've been able to see it. We've had Nevix pick up a couple of kills as well as Tavik that really gave him an early mana advantage. And it punished, you know, Movistar Riders from being too aggressive, from getting a little bit too careless. And from that, they extend this lead, or, you know, they extend this second point hold for like 6 minutes of time.
That was really... They were doing a fantastic job, like you had mentioned. Each member, actually, on the side of Misfits, I think, had their own moment where they were able to just extend this out. Now, they've got that win condition, right? Movistar Riders, they didn't finish off the map, and so now Misfits just need to take it to point B and get 43% on the board, and they're so close to going up against E United in the finals.
Yeah, a very scary time actually for Movistar Riders, considering, you know, think about how the series started, right? On Route 66, they got to basically the 3rd point in overtime on their 2nd go of it. And they had all the time to work with on the defensive side, where they actually lost down on that one. Actually, they almost lost down on that one with Misfits playing back on the last map. But we talked about Sombra. We talked about defensive and offensive Sombra. And it looks like they do want to run Neptune on this one. So Gilfrost can be happy about that. We're going to be seeing him running this. The position he wants to use, though, I don't know. Actually, I wonder if we can see where he's been able to hack some health packs, or where he ideally wants to hack these health packs. Because I would imagine he wants to go towards that right-hand side, towards the Mega, take that away, because that's typically a position that you want to hold if you're Misfits. But it looks like he wants to hack the small mini one to the left.
Yeah, just going for that mini control. A lot of teams do try to opt for that right side high ground push.
So he's opting to give them the quicker respawns on the health packs than take them away from Misfits. So he's trying to give them more longevity instead of making it easier to wipe Misfits.
Yeah, and with with Dante actually having that hacked health pack next to him, it allows him the option to go for more offensive biotic nades instead of trying to use it himself to keep himself sustained.
I think he caught about 3 or 4 people there, but there's just no follow-up, unfortunately. I think Kolsti wasn't in a position to jump in, which allows now Misfits to get this high ground control where we saw them holding before on the defending side. So now Movistar have to rotate around. It means now we're just seeing Neptuno hack some different health packs to, you know, switch things up for them. With Kolsti already going down, getting out of position, getting bioed, this is going to be rough.
Yeah, already man advantage. That's the tank on down. Neptuno trying his best. Get some damage off. He's getting his way towards that EMP as Finzi finds the kill onto Reinforce.
And that's the thing, right? If you don't have a Reinhardt, you can't really stop bio grenades. You don't have a Diva, you can't either. And they're not running either of those. So it allows, you know, Dante just to hit these time and time again and just continue to punish Misfits. Maybe Mantle will switch up, but being 50% of his ultimate, I would imagine he's just going to maintain this, and Tavik will eventually fall a little bit later on. But Neptuno with the EMP, like this is what Sombra can bring to the table, right? You get the health packs, but you also get a really early ultimate that can change how these fights can go. You pop the EMP off as they come in through the choke. You have pretty much a one fight that now charges Swoosh up on his ultimate. It helps get Kolsti closer, helps get Finzi to his tactical visor. So we'll see if he's going to use it actually aggressively or use it defensively if Misfits are going to be the one that supports the fight.
Yeah, Misfits struggling a little bit on the ultimate economy so far. Zebasai just got that nano boost, but Nevix and Manitin pretty far away from their own so far as they're making another approach on in. Neptuno just looking for a good EMP, but because there's no Zenyatta on the field for Misfits, he doesn't have the best of targets. He's just looking for anyone at this point, as Misfits have already cleaned up 3 kills, and he commits that EMP into that fight.
Yeah, I think it's you mean you might as well. I think they lost 3 people. He wanted to use it before they died, right? But you're going to be switching away from that anyways into the second point. So why not use it, maybe pick up a kill or 2, and then just switch over eventually. I mean, he's still sitting on it. I would imagine he's going to be switching off. go towards Lucio, go towards Zenyatta, probably Lucio in this situation. Are they really going to continue to run single healer here?
Yeah, we've seen Movistar Riders do this before.
This is dangerous.
Sticking with the Sombra beyond, I guess, what a lot of people would consider safe realms here, as the sound barrier does get committed by Misfits, but they've already lost to Vic.
Well, they're trying to at least eliminate where Timid can use his health backs and increase his longevity, but these kills come through, these ultras being popped. Remember, it's only 40%, 43% they needed. They're almost a third of the way there. They're actually almost able to pick this one up. If they can just keep them off the point here, pick up these kills, they could close this one out, but Swoosh, he's going to have his Dragon Blade. He's going to be able to come back into the fight, reinforce, able to take down Finzi, maybe waiting for Tavik to join the party yet again. We can see him and Nevix pairing together, trying to pick up these kills.
Yeah, Swoosh does have that Dragon Blade, though, but they have to stay on the point. They cannot leave it at all. Logix comes in huge with that pulse bomb, taking out Reinforce. His Primal Rage did end at that point. Now Nevix pushing forward. He's got the Genji. Now, with Neptuno going on down, Colsty, though, cleans up to Vic, and they will be able to force them back, but were they able to get that tick?
I think they did.
Oh, no, that's huge.
They didn't. No, that's a little
Okay.
unfortunate. It was too close to actually tell, but they committed everything into that fight. I wonder if Tavik didn't die in the beginning, would have been a different story, but there's still Movistar committing to this. So, okay, yeah, they want to run a defensive Sombra here. It's a little bit questionable, but if anything, you control the routes that Tavik can use because there's no health packs. And if you're Tracer, you need those health packs to be able to be this big flanking effort for your team.
Yeah, Neptuno already at 96% towards his ultimate. Logix winning that 1v1 against Tavik. And Tavik has not been having a good time so far with this Tracer. Every time he tries to take this 1v1, his opponent has a hacked health pack right next to him. So
Yeah.
he's been forced to retreat time and time again.
And, I mean, when he has only a recall to heal, and then Logix has a recall, health packs that are up every, like, 10 seconds. It's a trade you're not really going to win out on unless you can somehow one-clip them, but that's very difficult to do on Tracers. But now, being forced to be jumping in directly to the back. Look at this high ground control to Misfits, though. There's no one to really stop them here. And they're going to have a Nano Blade momentarily. Movistar, they're going to have to pump this EMP up at the right time, or someone hit a pulse bomb just like that. And Zevasai to shut any sort of combo off. And I would imagine, no, Zevasai used it. He used it on to Reinforce. They didn't try to put it onto the DPS. They want Reinforce to go ham. He picks up 2 kills. Nevix uses the Dragon Blade. They put a sound barrier. They might be able to pull this off here, Jamerson.
That's the EMP coming on out, but there's no one there. They will be able to complete it out. Misfits able to complete it out here on Hanamura, get the 2-1 victory over Movistar Riders. And this